Namaste, and welcome back to the Peace Practice. I'm Adrienne, a life coach based in British Columbia, Canada. This podcast is about creating peace through intentional action. And today I want to talk about something I believe sits at the very heart of peace: understanding ourselves. When we don't understand ourselves, our triggers, our emotions, our inner stories, it's easy to feel at the mercy of what others say or do. We may find ourselves reacting instead of responding, feeling hurt, angry, perhaps overwhelmed, or looking outward for someone to blame. And when we place that responsibility for our reactions on others, we quietly give away our power. Over time, I've learned that to blame often feels easier in the moment, but it leaves us powerless. Self-understanding, on the other hand, gives us choice. When we begin to notice why something triggers us, what emotion is underneath, and what story we're telling ourselves, we move away from reaction into awareness. And awareness is where peace begins. You might notice this in moments when someone's words land harder than expected. You feel suddenly defensive or withdrawn. A familiar emotion reaction shows up again and again and again. These moments aren't failures. They're invitations. They're signals pointing us inward, asking, what's being touched here? What needs care? For years before I started my journey towards peace, mindfulness and self-awareness were not things that I practice. I wasn't aware. I didn't take responsibility for the emotional roller coasters I often found myself on. At the time, I truly believed the cause lived outside of me, in my circumstances, in certain relationships, in what others were doing or not doing. It wasn't until I took ownership of my stuff, of my shit, the messy parts, the reactions, the patterns, that something actually changed. When I found the courage to talk about what was really going on inside of me, I began to develop self-awareness. I started to notice something surprising. The same emotional patterns I once blamed on relationships were showing up elsewhere also. That's when I realized this wasn't about them. It was about me. That realization wasn't easy, but it was freeing, very, very freeing. It was a gift. Self-awareness helped me work through my triggers instead of being controlled by them. Taking ownership didn't mean blaming myself. It meant that I was reclaiming my power. And from that place, peace became possible. I'll leave you with this question. Is there a reaction in your life right now that might be inviting you to look inward? Not with judgment, but with honesty and compassion. Thank you for spending time with me today. Before we close, I want to gently share that the reflections and conversations on this podcast are offered for educational and awareness purposes only. I am a certified professional life coach, but if you're experiencing challenges that require therapeutic or medical support, I encourage you to reach out to your qualified healthcare professionals. If you'd like additional support in exploring your peace in a gentle, intentional way, I would love to hear from you. You're also welcome to begin with my free self-assessment, a simple starting place to reflect on what may be affecting your peace and where to begin. This is the peace practice, creating peace through intentional action. Until next time, namaste.